359 Honoratus, first known prefect of the city of Constantinople, takes office after the Emperor Constantius creates a new senate for the East. 384 St Damasus I dies and ends his reign as Catholic Pope, began reign 366. 435 K'inich Yax K'uk Mo, founding ruler of City of Copán, marks completion of an important calendrical cycle under long count calendar Stela 63. Oldest known inscription from Copán. In 1282 Llywelyn ap Gruffydd, the last native and independent Prince of Wales, is killed at the Battle of Orewin Bridge near Cilmeri, close to Builth Wells in mid-Wales, by forces of Edward I of England. Gruffydd reigned from 1259 and is known as Llywelyn the Last. In 1395 John and Lena Reichener, a male cross-dressing prostitute, is brought to court in London for committing that detestable, unmentionable and ignominious vice in late medieval England's only recorded case on same-sex intercourse, verdict unknown. In 1419 heretic Nicholas Sayria exiled from Florence. In 1477 Duchess Maria of Burgundy ends the Great Privilege in States of the Netherlands. In 1570, two Spanish troops begin siege of Haarlem. FTDRL escalate 1602 surprise attack by forces of the Duke of Savoy and his brother-in-law, Philip Roman III of Spain, repelled by citizens of Geneva, commemorated since as FTDRL escalate. In 1618 the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth and the Tsardom of Russia agree to the Truce of Jelino, ending the Polish-Muscovite War 1605–1618. In 1620 Mayflower pilgrims come ashore in Plymouth Bay, traditionally thought to be at Plymouth Rock, Massachusetts, NS. Deck 21. 1665 Messar Sjabthai Tiswai Festival in Smyrna. In 1677 Second Battle of Tobago, French forces under Dean Roman II d'Esterese defeat the Dutch led by Jacob Binks, who's killed along with many of his men when a French shell detonates the defenders' powder magazine, destroying the fort and ending Dutch military power in the Antilles. James Roman II captured 1688 King James Roman II captured in Kent, after trying to flee to France upon the arrival of William of Orange. In 1710 Battle of Villers-Viciosa, France beats the Habsburgers. In 1719 first recorded display of Aurora Borealis Northern Lights in New England. Louis Roman XVI goes on trial. 1792 French King Louis Roman XVI goes on trial, accused of high treason and crimes against the state. 1812 first newspaper on Curacao Gazette commercial advertiser. In 1816 citizens of Geneva thwart Savoyard invaders. In 1816 Indiana becomes 19th state of the Union. In 1844 first dental use of nitrous oxide in Hartford, Connecticut, by John Riggs on dentist Horace Wells. Battle of Fredericksburg 1862 Battle of Fredericksburg in Virginia begins between Robert E. Lee's Confederate Army of Northern Virginia and the Union Army of the Potomac, commanded by Major General Ambrose Burnside. In 1866 first yacht race across the Atlantic Ocean, schooners Fleetwing, Bester, and Henrietta, with New York playboy Gordon Bennett on board, leave Sandy Hook for the Scilly Isles. Henrietta wins. In 1870, Pinckney Benton Stuart Pinchback takes office in Louisiana as the first African-American U.S. governor. In 1878 Anglo-Zulu War, British High Commissioner Henry Bartle Frere presents an ultimatum to the Zulu Kingdom to submit to British rule or face war. Ireland 1882 Boston SBC Theatre, the first American playhouse lit exclusively by electricity, holds its first performance. W.S. Gilbert and Arthur Sullivan's comic opera Ireland. In 1882 Victorian Sargers play Fedora with Sarah Bernhardt premieres in Paris. In 1888 French Panama Canal Company fails, costs estimated to exceed over 287 M and over 22,000 lives. 1893 11 fishing ships wash up at Wadden Sea, 22 killed. In 1896 Chief Electrical Engineer of the British Post Office, William Preece, gives a public lecture in London called Telegraphy Without Wires, praising the work of 22-year-old Guglielmo Marconi. In 1902, the US signs a treaty with Cuba allowing for a 20% reduction of tariff rates on imported Cuban products. In 1903, British forces under MacDonald Young husband march into Tibet. In 1905, a workers' uprising occurs, establishing the Shuliavga Republic in Kiev. In 1905, British government of Campbell Bannerman forms. In 1905, high temperature of 120 F49C recorded in Rivadavia, Argentina, a record for all of South America. In 1907, New Zealand Parliament buildings almost completely destroyed by fire. In 1908, Frederick Delaire's orchestral work in a summer garden premieres in London. In 1909, Canadian football exhibition game played in Van Cortlandt Park in Bronx. Hamilton Tigers beat Ottawa Rough Riders 11-6 before 15,000. In 1909, coloured moving pictures are demonstrated at Madison Square Garden in New York City. In 1913, iconic painting The Mona Lisa is recovered 2 years after it was stolen from the Louvre Museum in Paris. In 1914, Stockton Street Tunnel San Francisco completed. 1917, 13 black soldiers hanged for participation in Houston riot. In 1917, German-occupied Lithuania proclaims independence from Russia. In 1919, Bull Weevil Monument dedicated in Enterprise, Alabama. Feast of Christ the King. 1925, Pope Pius Roman XI publishes the encyclical Quas Primers in the First, establishing the liturgical Feast of Christ the King. Attempt on Hoover thwarted. 1928, Buenos Aires police thwart assassination attempt on President-elect Herbert Hoover, prevent anarchists from bombing his train. In 1930, Bank of the United States closes in New York City. In 1931, Japan leaves the gold standard. In 1931, Statute of Westminster gives complete legislative independence to Canada, Australia, New Zealand, South Africa, the Irish Free State, and Newfoundland, not then part of Canada. In 1932, San Francisco's coldest day, 27th, it snows. 1934-1935, All-Star Game is assigned to Cleveland. 1934, first successful penalty shot by a Toronto Maple Leaf, Charlie Knasher, stopped.